Alright guys, welcome back. Okay, so I went to locals and I was gonna play dinos, right? But then last minute I was like, nah, let's play it safe. I'll just play Geist. And then in top 8 I get knocked out by dinos. I was like, oh my god. That's what I get for not playing dinos. Well anyways, I played Geist because I'm extremely comfortable with the deck. I basically like know it inside out, like, all the intricacies. Of course, it might seem apparent from someone that doesn't really understand the deck completely. From someone that just hears about Geist, all the thing about, okay, flip trap, flip guy, reveal faker, that's basically it. But in order to be successful with the deck, you have to anticipate the meta. You have to be aware of what the sequences are and what the sequences lead to. Otherwise, you're gonna be interacting and not getting full value out of all the cards you have. And that's crucial because the deck is meant to be, I guess, out resourcing your opponent that way, right? Like you want your 2-for-1s, your 3-for-1s are huge. Like they said, the link something to the link 3, you have one card to just nullify that summon or that particular sequence, right? And then that's how you resource your opponent. Of course, those are the main like face value ones where like okay, this parent just have the bounce, have a negate with protocol, right? And then yeah, and then triple silk. This is not too standard. I've always been a fan of triple silk. It's just really good. The fact because I maxed out on this and the traps, which is huge. And one thing I noticed a lot that happens a lot, right, is that when they negate faker, right, it's kind of just left there, like there's nothing. But let's say you hard open this and then you reveal faker, this can get you seek, which lets your resource get even bigger, widen the gap. Like, it's widen the gap basically. And then you still have a bounce to ash this or negate this somehow. You know, it's that little thing is just so huge. It's just crazy. Of course, it's apparent that you don't want to draw these, but since I'm playing Haunted Rock, because most of the time you have Mario and a bunch of like a bunch of Geist monsters, it lets you have a play with link cross, so it becomes a consistency place. A consistency as a combined piece and play. It becomes a consistency play, right? Where you can have this, any Geist card, and then go for a link cross play because of course you're gonna go into Hextia. Hextia searches anything you're missing, whether it be the Geist card, the Geist monster or the Geist trap. So that's quite huge, and that's what I noticed a lot. A lot of my games were won because I had that option. I would go Sun Mario, okay, set Haunted Rock, okay, discard this, bring it back, trigger faker, you know, like, of course by then you can't do link cross play, but by then you just have the Hextia anyways, so you just link away to another Hextia and then search. So I was like, you know, so it gives you an amazing setup. And even if it's this one, you discard this, link it away for Hextia, right, add back this, link cross, search whatever you're missing, right? Even if it's this, you know, like it's just so good, like it's just really, really good. And then of course you have your Conqueror. Some people have been cutting this, but I'm a big fan of this, especially because I'm maxing out on this, because it puts your opponent in a weird dynamic where they're gonna want to attack you, and if you have this, it just basically makes their line of play really awkward because they were hoping that this guy got banned, like got off the field, or you wasted the bounce, because then it could set up the main phase too. And most likely, more often than not, when a deck does that, it's a combo deck, right? Because they want to initiate. They'll be like, okay, I can't kill you, but I can initiate a setup that's kind of hard for you to win, right? Which is why this is so freaking crucial, because you can go, okay, attack, okay, boom. Now what? You negate something on the field, and you still have your bounce on top of having the protocol. How are they going to win? The win condition was OTKing you by overwhelming you, but then they settled with, okay, I'll just bait the bounce and set up main phase 2. But they can't do that now. So like you put you in a really good position, right? Yeah, but that's why I like Conqueror. It just saves you sometimes. Like it's just so good. And of course you have your triple Ash, triple Ash, and then triple Gamma. Oh my god, this card is just so good right now. Like, how can you not play that right now? It's just so good. Of course, there's some contradictions, this and Faker, but if you know the meta well enough, you can anticipate and you can use the one better suited for that particular scenario. And some of you don't even know that you can still summon this, or I mean, better said, some Geist players don't even know that you can still summon this. You just can't summon from deck. And the fact that you can have Gamma doing their turn and negating with Protocol on their turn, while you having no Geist card, and then out of nowhere just having no Geist card, is huge. Because they don't think that you have Faker. They'll be like, okay, well, they use Faker. He used Gamma. He can't use Faker now. So that means, okay, it's fine. But then you can still summon it, and then you summon it in a particular scenario that you know that it will be impactful, right? Because then it makes it weird for them to try to play around the Protocol, which is huge. And then of course you have your triple Veiler, just more hand traps. Stop Hulk, stop Link Cross, stop Auroradon. Stop the Cobra, which is kind of annoying. I mean Anaconda. I mean, because dude, getting over Dragoons is freaking hard, man. Like, how are you gonna get out of Dragoon? You can't target it, can't be destroyed. The best bet is going into like generating enough resources to make a boar load, and that's how you just take it. But other than that, it's freaking hard to get around that damn thing. Of course, then you play the one driver, right? And this card, I thought this, okay. This card's cool, but like, as I was testing it, it just became uncool. Like the aggressive play you already want is this and Hunter Rock. This just depletes your hand, which is quite because at least this with Hunter Rock, right? It's a Geist card, so even then, because you're maxing out on the Manis, you can still bring them back. Whereas this, like, of course you can use that with Mani as well. But like, sometimes you have the option to discard this, and it becomes really tempting. Like, it's kind of deceiving in a way. Like, oh yeah, get me Seek, but you have to discard a hand trap. I was like, I don't want to do that, dude. I don't want to do that. But then it just seems like it's worth it, and then it's, I don't know. It made me feel really uncomfortable playing this. Yeah, I might just cut it. Okay, but of course, I guess it makes sense to play it because it's a higher card count deck. But I don't know. Triple Desires. Initially, the deck when the deck was first competitive, right? This was initially played, but the moment Extravagance came out, this got replaced, and yeah, he just maxed out on like 3 elves in the extra deck. But that's one thing I just didn't like. Like from the deck standpoint, right? Its ceiling is very low on what it does, right? You interact. Hopefully the protocol on the bounce finishes up the game, right? But sometimes that's not enough, and which is why I really prefer toolboxing and having the option to toolbox. Whereas with the extravagance build, you can't do that, and that's quite like, oh man, that's not, because like you can't be clever. You can't set up any like nightmare plays and then adding stuff back with this, searching off this, while like picking your opponent's board apart with the nightmares, or link climbing into boar sword and ending games. Like you just don't have that as your option, and I didn't like that, because like, imagine having this low ceiling within the main deck, right? Imagine that, right? And then adding the toolboxiness. That it's just a completely different deck, dude. It is a completely different deck. It is. It's just crazy. Let me go to the trust. Okay, so once again, it's not too standard, but it's just, I guess, my playstyle of it, and just how I've gotten to understand the deck. Triple protocol and triple manifestation, triple spoofing, right? This makes this live more often, and that's something I noticed that a lot of players seem to struggle with, where they have this but they don't have any Geist cards, and they'll have like strikes, they'll be like waiting on something to spoof, and they don't have anything. But I never really had that issue. I always have something for spoof. It's just crazy. And the fact that you're maxing out on this guy, right, on the Geist card, it makes opening up multiples of these not as tough. Because like if you open up both of these and this, huge. Summon, link away. Effect, search, attempt search flicker, they ash, okay. Bring it back. Negate with protocol, search faker. That's 2 ways to get to faker. Then if they have 2 ashes, that's just unfortunate. But if they don't, having faker with another trap, another of these traps, like that's so huge. Same thing with the silk, right? Same thing with silk. Summon, right? Negate, send to graveyard, bring it back, chain spoofing. That's 2 cards you only have. Like it's meant to work with the deck. Like it's just so good. Of course, the most apparent face value thing where going second is not that good. Well, I mean, it can be not good, of course, but that's like any other deck's weakness. Like you can open up like all your bad cards and not be able to do anything significant with it. But the fact that you have it as an option is huge. It's so good. Like it's so good. Like I don't know. I just feel like this is so. They add so much to the deck where it's just I don't know. It's just a new perspective, I guess. Maybe just the way I play it. It just I don't know. It's just really really cool. I like it. Of course, I'm not really thinking about oh man, I'm gonna open up all these. I'm gonna just lose. Like, that's not in the back of my mind. I'm just thinking about like what you can do. You know, that has a lot to do with your deck building as well. Like being paranoid or not being paranoid of having something occur quite frequently, like opening a bunch of guys cards compared to not opening a bunch of guys cards. Like that perspective will be different from someone else. Like let's say someone that opens a bunch of traps want to have the same perspective as someone opening a bunch of guys monsters. Does that make sense? So all that has a role into the way you deck build, and you can see it, and that's crazy. It's like a philosophy way of deck building is huge. It's a big difference. The only one you don't really want to like open up these 2 with is I think Mario, because it doesn't really do anything for you apart from just I guess. But yeah. But other than that, if you open up this, oh my god, no, it was so neat. You open up these, and any of these you're golden, dude. You're golden. Like this is just it's so good. And you play desires as well, so you want to like maximize this to not banish them, because you don't want to summon a Mario and not have it set a trap. Of course, you have your strikes, crackdowns, and perms. Imperms, amazing. Order, because Lightning Storm is quite annoying, right? And yeah, this is so cool. I like Crackdown because you need these type of cards to sequence out your opponent's turn, because this is good going second, right? Because the way you win going second is sequencing your cards to try to break your opponent's board just enough to get a little bit of traction going off of the faker you resolved, right? That's the whole point of this particular card. Because like not having this means you would have had to struck something and then reveal faker, right? Whereas adding this will go okay, crackdown, take savage, or take something. Take Appaloosa or something, right? Or take a herald. No, take a herald, and then negate with herald. Okay, that's fine. You have a second. You have a second go. You go imperm or something, right? Strike. Set up a strike because they're gonna have to negate it, right? And then you reveal your faker. Whereas if you didn't have this, it's kind of hard to like sequence, but you need to have those type of sequences to be able to, I guess, get a little bit of traction going to fight back to that board. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that made sense. But yeah, that's cool. That's huge, and especially like with Gamma, dude. Like this is so good against freaking dumb. I think it was the last week or 2 weeks ago. I was playing it. He was playing Dragon Link or Thunder Dragon, where he full comboed, and I had this and Gap. No, I topped it this and had Gap. I was like a freaking like less than 1,000, and he goes, I don't know what happened. I ended up like doing something to survive. I ended up running into this. He knew I had Gamma, so it's kind of odd because he knew I had it. So I was like, oh fuck, because he asked me prior to this because I Gamma'd his the Dragoon Link. and he goes Ash. I was like, fuck. And then he ended up making a Palooza, and then it made this guy dead basically. So anyways, a few turns, the following turn I think happened, or I can't remember. I think a turn after the following turn, because I survived. I ended up top decking this, and I had this. So all I had was 2 cards to my name. 2 cards. I had this and this. And he goes, okay. He has Savage. What else? A Nibiru token that's not stronger than Savage, and Levenier. And then I go, and then he goes, okay, battle phase, and I'm like, fuck! And then I go Crackdown. He goes Savage Negate, and I go Gamma, and I block, and then I draw into Desires, and I could draw Mario Faker. I was like, oh my god, that was freaking up, so epic. It was so crazy. But yeah, that's how you, like, I guess, win going second. Just sequencing out your turn properly and learning to anticipate, because that's how these decks win. You have to know the meta. You gotta understand, okay, this sequence lead to that, and then if that happens, he might have this. So then you have to consider all those things while playing and getting the most value out of your cards, right? Because that's how your intentions are to be winning, right? Because like simple logic, they link for a monster, strike 1 card gets rid of 2, right? That's simple Yu-Gi-Oh economics. You already at an advantage, right? But if that particular link is not gonna do anything that impactful, just save it. Save it until something happens. You know, already they're gonna be investing more things into it, and then do it. Okay, the extra deck. Like I said, the extra deck it's a bit toolboxy, right? So you have, of course, this guy's amazing. This card's so cool because like there's like a bunch of times because you can make it with Gamma, and oh, dude, this is so cool. This little neat trick is amazing. Okay, since you play Desires, and among those 10 you banish, odds are you're gonna banish one of your guys' cards, right? You're gonna be banishing one of your guys' cards. Like odds are you are, right? And what this does, right? The standby phase to return a banished card to the graveyard. You can depending on what your hand is, you can return any of these to the grave. There's a time where I returned a Faker, and I didn't have access to Faker, but it had Manny. And I go, okay, standby phase effect to graveyard, and it just gave me back the Faker. I was like, what the? That's so cool. Or even having the Seek, or even having the Bounce. Like it just little things like that are just insane because they're obscure. You can't really play around this. You can't because you would have to have been in that situation before. But this situation doesn't really happen. Like it doesn't really happen at all. Okay, and then you have your this is like the way you get over freaking Dragoons. You have to find a way to link into this. Sword, and of course you have your access code. This is the one you mostly go into. What I noticed, you mainly go into this guy, who just like you have this and you have Hexia underneath because you summon Mario. Like it's crazy. Like after you do the link crossplay, you will have Hexia, Bounce, Faker, and a Spell and Trap, right? Like that's huge. So you're almost guaranteed to have the resource to make this the following turn. And then of course your nightmares. You have a nightmares, right? So the ones. Nightmare, and then of course Hida. This is so good. You can make it with Almirage, and you can take Gear free, which is funny. It's so funny. And of course you have your triple Hexia, the MVP of the deck, right? MVP of the deck. And then you have your Link Spider, Link Cross. This Link was away. Link Rebo, and this. Cool. Amazing. Yeah, like without the extra build, you can't really have this toolboxiness, which is another layer to the deck that the deck doesn't really have, and that makes a difference. Like from my experience, it makes a big difference. Like playing against like the meta right now. Of course, you can play like the Magica cards, like the Trap and the Entis and stuff like that. You could play that, but I'm yet to test that. But right now, I feel comfortable with this. But I might play that as well because I don't know. But then I would have to cut these. So I'm not sure how impactful that trap card would be for the deck, but as for right now, this is what I'm comfortable with. Oh shit, we still did side deck. Side deck is very generic, very standard. I guess very expected, right? Triple this for like backward decks. evenly, just generically. This card, I'm not gonna main that card. This is, oh my god, I tried maining this, and all it did was just bring me freaking grief. Like, I was just like, I'll top deck this 1 second. I'm like, what is that? Does nothing. It literally does nothing. It's just really annoying. If you want to, I guess, go for it like all in, make the deck built to. If you go first, you basically win. I guess you can do that, but like, I want to be able to not be in a situation. Triple Cosmic and Nibiru. Pretty standard. And that's basically it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.